what's interesting to me is nothing against the coaches and nothing against Saleh or any of these guys, but I don't like acting like heaven and earth because there's only one Bill Walsh. There's only one Buddy Ryan. There's only one Ray Rhodes. There's only one Mike Holmgren. They're great, awesome coaches they're just rare. They're just rare.
Totally.
And it's like there's many more, just dime a dozen. It's about players. It's always been about players. It's always going to be about players. And that's where the Niners fell off. Is Sorensen not great? Yeah, but I'm not going to pretend that Sorensen is the problem. Sorensen wasn't the problem. He wasn't good enough. He didn't have the answers. Right. There are way better guys. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's good. I'm just saying that's not the problem. Your problem's not solved. Like, you have Robert Saleh. Oh, problem solved. No, your problem's not solved. No. He cannot turn water into wine. You know what I mean? He cannot. Right. This guy is not that guy. Okay, so who could he potentially bring from the Jets? And I looked at the Jets list, and I did a video on this.
I'll give you 3.
Well, I'm going to give you. Let me just give you the name. Okay, go ahead. You go first.
Here we go. Ashton Davis, safety. Cal kid, Santa Cruz, played well for him. That's just a depth piece, right? That doesn't preclude you from doing anything, but you're going to need some safeties. Probably one in the draft, probably 2 in free agent. You need to have some bodies there. Ashton Davis, very viable.
Love him. He, 6'1", 205 pounds, 28, 29.
Great player at Cal. Really good player at Cal.
But, good this year. He had 9 tackles against Miami. Yep. He had 9 tackles against Buffalo. Yeah. This guy's a great story. This guy was a walk-on hurdler at Cal with 4.4 speed, and he just kept getting better and better and better. He's a special temer, so he's a high character player. Yeah, no, he's a
local kid, right? So it's an easier sell. One other guy. There's other guys, but the one other guy that I think you really need to hone in on, Jamie and Sherwood, the linebacker, who was really good for them. Right. And when you think about the scheme that they're going to run again with the wide 9, you need to have elite level linebacker play. I do think that Robert Saleh coming back is good news for Dre Greenlaw because Robert Saleh is going to understand intrinsically the value that Dre Greenlaw provides. So you're not going to have to be convincing the new defensive coordinator that Dre Greenlaw is good and that they should bring him back. But if they can't bring him back, I do feel like this is and it's not an and or, it's just an or. If they can't bring back or they decide that Achilles is too dangerous, they don't want to bring back Greenlaw. Jamie and Sherwood was really good as the 3rd linebacker for the Jets to the point where he was probably their best linebacker, and they had 2 highly paid linebackers on that team. 25 years old. I think he's about an $8 million a year linebacker, but you feel okay giving him that money because he's so young. There are rookies in this league that are coming in at 25 years old. This ECU punter is 32. He's looking for a new school, Larry. So these college football with the COVID year and now the JUCO transfer rules, there's a lot of guys who are coming into the NFL at 24, 25. This guy's got 4 years of, in the last 2 years in particular, high-quality football under his belt at 25. I got no problem paying him. I think Sherwood would be a hell of a pickup to play next to Fred Warner. Those are 2 guys that I think, amongst others, like DJ Reed, I'm sure we'll talk about him, but those 2 guys, I think, high on the list, if not 1, 2.
Yeah, no, you're so spot on Jamie and Sherwood. This is the guy. I know there's a lot of people that feel like, they know football and they follow it, but I know if we say this name, everybody's like, Jamie and Sherwood? What? Jamie, tell me what? I'm telling you, if the 49ers can get this guy to follow Robert Saleh from the Jets, do cartwheels. Seriously, go throw a 49er party. Tell everybody the 49ers just got a great player.
Get out the good carnitas because that's a serious day.
Bust out the Stoli. We're having a big night.
That's right.
Jamie and Sherwood, he's a 25-year-old linebacker, converted safety, played at Auburn.
Right.
6'2", 215 pounds.
Boy,
this year, this guy came of age, man. Yeah. He had 10 or more tackles in a game 7 times. He had 18 tackles against the Dolphins. He had 17 tackles against Arizona. Against the Texans, he had 7 tackles and 2 sacks. Florida kid, fifth-round pick by the Jets out of Auburn in 2021. Super sure tackler, hitter, special teams experience, 34-inch arms, longest arms in the league, can cover the tight end, team MVP. This guy, they say, is the hardest working guy on the entire team. He studied Cam Chancellor, he studied Jalen Ramsey, and he kind of is a little bit of a combo of both. He stepped in when C.J. Mosley got hurt, and the guy's monster. Team MVP.
Great.
Team
He's
MVP.
Great.
Best player on the team on the defense. He was Pro Football Focus's highest graded Jets defender at 73.8. Yeah,
which says a lot about the Jets defense when Robert Saleh left, but yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, if the Niners get Jamie and Sherwood, seriously, do cartwheels.
It's huge.
I'll add a couple more guys to the list.
Okay.
I love DJ Reed. Now,
nothing to dislike, except for his age.
The only thing I don't like is that he had 19 penalties over the last 2 years. He had a career high 11 this year. That's a lot. And the Jets did go 4-1 in the 5 games that he didn't play. So I don't know, but he started 46 games in 3 seasons with the Jets. He doesn't pick off the ball. He only had 2 picks. He's not an intercepting guy. He doesn't, but he's physical. He'll tackle you. 64 tackles last year, 52 solo.
True cover 3 corner, right? He'll make sure that no one catches it, and that he'll come in and protect against the run. Like, that's a big deal. That's hard to find.
Since he joined the Jets in 2022, he ranks 15th in PFF overall grade, 8th in coverage grade. So, a lot of talk that Arizona's going to go after him. Arizona's got $72 million in cap room. It's like one of the most in the league, and supposedly they're going to go after him. But man, DJ Reed started as a Niner. He's only 28. I still think he's got 2 or 3 years of big-time football. He's tough as hell. He's got major swagger. He can play the slot as well as anybody, but he plays outside. That's the guy right there. Now, a couple other guys that I think would be really interesting. One is Chaz Surratt, the former quarterback,
right?
Who, this guy was a decorated high school quarterback in North Carolina. And he went to North Carolina as a quarterback. He's 6'2", 230, and he runs 4.5. And he's 27. He's also super strong. He had like 27 reps of 225 coming out. And tremendous work ethic, productive tackler at Carolina his final years there. Tough, smart, competitive. He had 28 tackles and 24 off the bench. This guy, Robert Saleh, knows how talented this guy is. This guy is really talented. He's fast. He's a young linebacker who's really good. On a bad team with worse linebackers, he would have played, but he didn't play very much on this team because they have such good linebackers. So Chaz Surratt is a good one. And then, then of course Saleh Thomas, if you like Saleh actually is a pretty decent football player at this point. But the other guy, I think if you're the Niners and you're really looking to plug the run, Leki Fotu is just a house, and he's only 26, 34 in the 4th-inch arms, 4th-round pick by Arizona out of Utah in 2020. This guy is he's 6'5", 340. He only played 1 year of high school football, right?
It's stunning that he's 340. He looks like he's 280.
Oh, I know, it's crazy. He was such a good rugby player that he made the U.S. national rugby team. Yeah. First team All Pac-12 as a junior, 3rd team All-American as a senior. 2 of his brothers also played college football. This guy's got natural strength. He's an odd front nose guard is what he is. But you know what? He's only 26 and he's a house. And then I'm tired of watching people run up the gut on the Niners. I'm tired. The Niners have to do 2 things.
340 pounds.
The Niners have to do 2 things. They have to be able to run it up the middle and stop the run at the point. If you can't run it up the middle and you can't stop the run at the point, it's game over. It is literally game over. So they got to get super serious on both sides of the ball at getting the middle of the field clogged up. Yeah. If you can't stop the run, you're done. So this guy would absolutely be just that mountain in the middle. You would not be giving up short yardage anymore.
First and second down, short yardage.
Yes.
Put him in at one technique, and he doesn't have to get anywhere. He just has to hold the damn line. Because if I see Jordan Elliott, the supposed best run stopper on the San Francisco 49ers, get opened like a flipping door one more time, I mean, he was just on a pivot where he would just turn 90 degrees after the snap. He started facing the end zone. He ended up looking at the sidelines, snap after snap after snap. I don't need the penetration. I don't need it. Just don't get pushed out of the way, right? I guess it was an upgrade from Javon Kinlaw, who would get pushed 5 yards backwards. But it's not that much better when you just turn your shoulders and have no leverage whatsoever anymore. When you just open up the door and say, come on in. Like, how much better is that? What kind of a security system just opens the door for the robber? That's what they had going on. And so if you can just have, I don't know, a door that stays closed, hold the gap. I don't need 2 gap. I just need someone to stand there and not move. That's all I want. Fotu would be incredible. I have no idea how this man is listed at 335 pounds. It makes no sense to me.
Well, and I'll say this. I mean, you got to have a plan, right? I mean, if you're going to get better, if you're going to win anything, you have to have a plan. You can't just, we're just going to do what we can do. No.
Yeah.
You got to have a plan to succeed. My plan to succeed, if I ran the Niner defense, would be get bigger bodies up front consistently. Start and what I see a lot of in the draft is I see a lot of really, really good linebackers that are 215 to 240 pounds. They're not 250, 260 with neck rolls. They're really small and fast. They're like almost like strong safeties, but they can, lots of them, like 5 or 6 guys like this in the draft this year that are really, really can run and hit. And you got to protect these guys' legs. You got to keep the offensive linemen off their legs. And that's where the big, thick, 330-pound defensive tackles, the Niners have to get real up front. Their biggest problem are their defensive tackles, I think, and they got to address it.
No, it's either their offensive tackles or their defensive tackles. I think it's defensive tackles. As you said, you don't stop the run, you're done. It's not a new take. We're not presenting anything new here. We all watched this team. They were awful in the middle, and it put a tremendous amount of undue stress on the linebacker core this season. I mean, I don't know if Devondre Campbell had any good football in him. He certainly didn't show it, but he was consistently tasked with having to do 2 things at one time and clearly could not get it done. Fred Warner looked like a shell of himself, not just because of the injury, but because he was getting no insulation whatsoever as the entire play came towards him again and again and again. So I understand that you're giving up something when you go with those wide splits, but at a certain point, someone's got to hold down the damn fort as well, because the linebackers, they can clean it up, but I mean, come on now. Don't answer questions from the FBI without a lawyer present.